Today I want to extend my very best wishes to all who are celebrating Nowruz around the world.
اونها از سلاح هسته‌ای نمی‌ترسند، از خودباوری ملت ما می‌ترسند. بدانید ملت ایران از حق مسلم خود صرف نظر نخواهد کرد.
Iran aggressively pursues these weapons and exports terror, while an unelected few repress the Iranian people's hope for freedom. States like these and their terrorist allies constitute an axis of evil.
In particular, I would like to speak directly to the people and leaders of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
You know that the West is always more on the side of America than on Iran, but I think we should be very careful.
Another point is you make sure that, how to say, not to turn aggressive. Iran is not an aggressive country. We see aggression from the West against Iran in 31 years. Yeah.
But on the other side, the American knew that with perpetual conflict with Iran, you know, because, you know, the conflict we are speaking of, Iran-Iraq, was a conflict before the Iranian Revolution.
در هر حال امریکایی‌ها کاری رو کردن که خیلی‌ها فکر می‌کردن که دیگه در قرن 20 و قرن 21 دیگه از این کارا تکرار نمیشه.
Who now may believe the Americans when they talk about freedom, about democracy, human rights.
In the past few years, numerous Iranian nationals have been confronted with the United States extradition law in third-party countries and arrested under different pretexts by Interpol. Of course, some of them have been released after spending a lot of time in prison. Under the United States extradition law, Majid Kakavand was arrested by the police at the Charles de Gaulle airport in Paris on March 20th, 2009, and charged with smuggling. But based on the agreement between France and America, the U.S. call for his extradition was illegal.
In that respect, Iran has a unique distinction. It was the last country of the last century to be the victim of widespread deployment of these terrible weapons.
به عبارت دیگه مثلا اگر با سیاست‌های دولت ایران فرضاً مخالف بودن، دیپلمات ایرانی رو گرفتن، زندان کردن یا اخراجش کردن یا راهش ندادن.
My life has been destroyed. It's 11 months that I am here, 6 months in jail for nothing.
ایرانی‌ها تروریستن.
Off camera.
Iran is a country located in Southwest Asia with an area of 1,640,000 square kilometers and a population of more than 74 million. It is the birthplace of the most ancient civilizations in human history and home to the world's first sovereign government. Hundreds of thousands of miles away from Iran, in the North American continent, is the United States, a country that spans 9,630,000 square kilometers and has a population of more than 300 million. America was born 300 years ago with the arrival of immigrants from Europe. When I take a good look at these two countries, I neither see a shared border nor any economic or cultural commonalities. But strangely, and despite all the historical, geographical, and cultural differences, the U.S. maintains a heavy and vivid presence near Iran. What has kept the relations between these two countries in the headlines of political news for more than 30 years? I read a brief history of the U.S.-Iran ties, but didn't find convincing answers to my questions. Browsing through the pages of history, I realized that in spite of signing their first friendship and trade agreement in 1851, neither country commissioned any formal envoy or diplomat to the other's capital city for 30 years. Only in 1883 did the first ever American envoy, a man called Frederick Humble Winston, set foot on Iranian soil to establish the American embassy. But after only 2 months, he resigned from his position, arguing that Iran wasn't a valuable country for the U.S. in terms of trade, and that the U.S. didn't have any long-term interest there. On November 4, 1979, some 300 students from the University of Tehran staged an anti-U.S. rally in front of the American embassy in Tehran, and then captured the building along with the 66 diplomats and staffers in it. They called themselves the students followers of the Imam's line, who said they seized the embassy in retaliation for the American government's decision to allow the fugitive Shah of Iran on U.S. soil. What followed next caused the diplomats to be kept in captivity for 444 days, and the officials and people of the two countries reacted to the issue in the meantime. I didn't find all I wanted to know about this important event from books and movies. I wanted to hear a first-hand account of it from one of the students who was involved in the takeover of the embassy. It wasn't a difficult thing to do, but I wanted to find someone who studied law, is now a lawyer defending the rights of the people, and has experience and academic knowledge about human rights.
ببینید یک انقلابی صورت گرفته بود، پرهزینه بود، هزینه جانی، هزینه مالی برای ملت داشت. به هر حال محاکمه شاه رو ملت حق خودش میدونست.
عمدتاً رو چند تا موضوع تکیه داشتن. اول رفتن شاه به آمریکا.
After entering the main building and arresting most of the embassy staffers, the students went up to the second floor where they saw a big door and a safe. They didn't know the combination code. It took them till 1:30 in the afternoon to open it. Hours later, when they unlocked the door, they opened to a top-secret room where members of the Americans were destroying documents. They found a barrel full of granulated and shredded paper. The embassy staff had managed to destroy all the documents as the students struggled with the door. When they saw that, the students became certain the American embassy had become a base for CIA agents and an intelligence command center for the U.S. But because of the importance of the destroyed documents, the students spent the next 3 years painstakingly putting shred to shred and piece to piece to recover the documents. Some of the recovered documents presented evidence of the secret ties between the U.S. interests of the United States.
تلقی ما دانشجو اون زمان این بود که ما داریم یک دفاع مشروعی رو از حقوق خودمون، از حقوق ملت میکنیم. در واقع اشغال سفارت اعتراض به نقض قوانین به آمریکا بود که این نقض قوانین و مقررات از سوی آمریکا در کشور ایران و بسیاری از کشورهای جهان سوم اتفاق افتاده بود. البته این تصور ما در واقع تسخیر سفارت و دسترسی به اون اسناد مدارک، این تصور ما رو در واقع به
November expressing it called on the 5 women to demand that their government to Iran. By releasing the women and African American hostages, the students wanted the international community to understand and appreciate their respect for human rights and their defense of the oppressed. As the historical ambiguities about the sentiments of the past 2 Iranian generations are cleared away, I get to know the Americans better. I find the answers to some of my questions while new ones continue to spring up in my mind.
Here is France, and we have our own laws and regulations. So, nothing, just come with us. I said that, but look, my wife is alone here, and she doesn't know anybody here. She needs to have some money. After that, I was transferred to the police station. There, I was in a cell, in a very dirty and a very small cell. It was quite terrible. I never forget that moment in my life.
After 444 days of crisis for the U.S. and 444 days of political, economic, and military pressure for Iran, and with the mediation of Algeria, Iran and the U.S. reached an agreement. Algeria had long led the mediation efforts between Iran and the U.S., and Mohammed bin Yahya, the country's foreign minister at the time, was considered a reliable mediator by both sides. His role was instrumental to the signing of the Algiers Accords that led to the release of the American hostages and the meeting of Iran's demands.
Thank you. And Eid Shoma Mubarak.
that Sarah is getting released from prison, so we managed to get a meeting with her. And we wrote this letter to the President of the United States, Mr. Barack Obama, and we're going to give it to Sarah to see if she can help us in any kind. We've sent many emails to many people, but we've had no answers, no replies. The last time that I saw my mother in Cyprus in December 2007. It was in 6th grade on December 2007. We only saw her for 6 hours. It was supposed to be 2 days, but there was a delay in the airplane. And we saw her at the afternoon and she left at night. And then it was really a hard day and sad and remembering.
If you have read the file, Shahzad is not a terrorist, and what they claim she had done is not an instance of terrorism. It's not related to terrorism. Whenever inspectors from these NGOs came to the prison, they hid Shahzad. In some dark places, I don't know, at the bottom of the building. I don't know the exact name, but she was kept there and nobody could see her. She was hidden because she was kept there illegally. The US authorities know that there's something illegal here. Why? If Shahzad is a criminal, as they say, why they kept her in another place that the people coming from these organizations could not see her.
$22 سال پیش پسرم به جهت تحصیل به امریکا فرستادم.
ایشون در امریکا ازدواج میکنن
ولی به علت اختلافات فرهنگی، مذهبی نتونست با خانمش زندگی کنه.
موضوع مورد اختلاف بچه بود که خب هر کدوم سعی میکردن که بتونن بچه رو با توجه به اینکه حالا قانون چی میگه به سمت خودشون بیارن. یه چند ماهی از برگشتن ایشون به امریکا نگذشته که یک روزی پلیس به منزل محل سکونت ایشون مراجعه میکنه و ایشون رو به اداره پلیس میبره.
بالاخره آمریکایی‌ها در نهایت در 5 اردیبهشت ماه 1359 به تبس حمله میکنن که اون افتضاح معروف به بار میاد.
Without 6 flyable helicopters, you couldn't make it.
And to take over the embassy in November 1979 showed that you could make policy with a very strong anti-American gesture.
So all the policy in the whole region after 79 is a policy of trying to punish Iran.
یه وایت بورتی بود روی دیوار نصب بود، روی این بورد نوشت 444 و من گفت این چیه؟ گفتم 444. گفت معنیشو میدونی؟ گفتم 444. دوباره تکرار کرد معنیشو میدونی؟ گفتم 444. نه.
اعلام میکنه که من این دادگاه رو واقعا در صلاحیت نمیبینم برای رسیدگی به این پرونده، چون دارن مسائل دیگری رو وارد این قضیه میکنن، مسائلی که حتی من برای اولین بار دارم میشنوم خیلیاشو. جالب اینجاست که ایشون به مسئله قاضی به مسئله 444 روز گروگانگیری آمریکایی‌ها در ایران اشاره میکنه.
As a student, when I compare the behavior and actions of the students 30 years ago and everything that followed, I see a big puzzle whose pieces aren't in the right place. I need to know more pieces together in their logical place. I have traveled back in time. I need to find the unwritten history of the events that are still fresh in the minds of the Iranians. I have to look for the bitter truth. Iranians have been fighting for freedom for more than 100 years. They experienced, though briefly, the sweet taste of independence during the premiership of Mossadegh. But who rammed the bitter taste of tyranny and a coup down the throats of Iranians? The answer to that question may lie in the past.